Is Rachel Zegler the new Dylan Mulvaney? Bud Light's market cap crashed when their new woke head of marketing decided a partnership with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney was a good idea. It was a seminal event. Now Modelo is the number one selling beer in America. But what Dylan did for Bud Light, Rachel Zegler, star of the West Side Story film, might do for Disney. She's playing Snow White in the upcoming Disney live-action film, which hits theaters a week from Friday. So speaking to Variety, 2 years ago at the D23 Expo, here's what she said about the new vibe of the film. It's no longer 1937. She, Snow White, is not going to be dreaming of being saved by the prince. She's going to be dreaming of being the leader her father told her she would be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. September of 2022. Saying all the right things then, right? At the time she said it, right? It checked all the approved boxes. She went on to talk about how as a little girl, she was scared of Snow White, hated the Disney ride, Snow White and the Scary Adventure or whatever. She didn't even like it. Now she's down for changing the whole script? You bet. And guess what? The prince gets castrated in this one. She says it's a weird love story, right? The original, like with a prince that literally stalks her. So we didn't do that this time. I think people are tired of the feminist flex, right? The women as victims, girls as prey ideology is irritating, and all our old classics, now need to be reframed. Remember the song, Baby, It's Cold Outside? I mean, it's been around for 100 years, and then someone decided, no, the guy's literally trapping her inside, trying to assault her. He won't let her... What? I really can't stay. I mean, come on. Barbie, big success, but Ken's the idiot and she's empowered. Female empowerment is a term Hollywood actresses love to peddle. There is a Glamour Elle Variety magazine sponsored powerful women's luncheon every day in Hollywood. In this case, it's insulting to people who cherish the story of Snow White and would love to see it with all the new technology and the sound effects that we have available today, but the original story. And then, of course, there's the issue that, well, she's not white, she's brown. A lot of hypocrisy here. It's Hollywood that mandated only gay people can play gay. Blacks can only play black. Sorry, Robert Downey Jr., no sequel to Tropic Thunder. And if they powder Rachel's face because Snow White was super pale, right? Her skin is as white as snow. Is that not appropriation, according to the rules you wrote? They needed to release this last year, just before people began vocalizing their rejection of these force-fed ideas. I love this. In a somewhat humorous twist, Peter Dinklage bemoaned a misplaced outrage and lobbed this little pearl in there. He said, literally, no offense to anything, but, I was sort of taken aback. They were very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the 7 dwarves. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It's the story, Peter, like we said. But Hollywood, stop thinking for people. Stop the heavy-handedness of forcing people to think a certain way. Stop insulting people by filtering what they take in. Women still talk about having their fairy tale weddings, like almost every one of them. It's okay. Not every woman feels the need to blow up men, be a business leader. Many want their Prince Charming and want their Disney characters and stories as is. Here's what you can do if you want a different story. Just make a new one. It's Hollywood. Now, I mentioned Dylan Mulvaney at the outset. Dylan is famous for tanking the Bud Light brand. Not true. The marketing director is tanked the Bud Light brand by sending all the Bud Light to Dylan. Dylan was a guest on The View this week, which leads us to an installment of Whoopi Goldberg. Do we have the Whoopi? All right, listen to this. Here's Whoopi Goldberg on The View with Dylan Mulvaney as the guest. Okay.
Is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. Mm-hmm. So when you come in and you say, these are men, competing against women, you're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except be here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue.
Yeah, so Whoopi is talking about, boys on girls' teams competing, and she's blatant, just sucking up to Dylan Mulvaney. But Whoopsie has gotten so comfortable in spewing formerly unchallengeable tropes, things that people couldn't raise a voice if they felt otherwise, that she apparently refuses to do any research. She takes unfettered stands on positions acceptable to the media elite. That's so brave. It's just like unbelievable. She takes the female and trans experience and kind of throws them into a blender, right? She's saying, if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. I mean, in exasperation, why is this an issue? Well, it's an issue, Whoopi, because we do know everything about our bodies and how they work. Nobody knows for sure what causes a person to transition, but it's generally believed to be a complex interplay of biological factors, including genetics, hormone levels, brain structure variations, social factors. Thank you, ChatGPT, for that. But look, I have great compassion for any, especially young person who feels like an alien in their own body. Anyone bullied or left out. Inclusion to me is what basically means what my dad always said to me. Lift up the little guy, okay? A female friend of mine told me that her dad said in high school, look, whatever boy asks you to the prom first, you say yes to that kid no matter how uncool he is or whatever, knowing what it took for that kid to muster up the courage to ask out the cute girl. I love that policy. Finding room in your heart for a boy whose biological fluctuations make him feel different is kind and good. Finding room for him on the girls' track team and winning state is unkind and unfair to the girls who are competing at an equitable level of estrogen, which, of course, regulates menstrual cycle and forms breasts. Muscle mass, lung capacity, heart size, height, bone density. Ultimately, it's unkind also to that boy who's going to now be treated really differently. This was a big issue in Maine. You saw the Maine governor take on the president of the United States. Trump went after her. But there's, an athlete who was a freshman on the boys' team right there on the left. In the left circle, freshman year, 5th place in pole vaulting. And then the picture on the right, the transition complete, 1st place on the women's team. So, look, I understand bleeding heart liberals. I get it, in matters of race, gender, mental capability. They want to merge all lanes so those marginalized people won't feel hurt. And also, importantly, they themselves won't experience guilt. It comes from a good place, but they've run rampant in America. Given an inch, they took a mile. People got fed up, felt safe enough finally in their numbers to say no more. The fear of career and social banishment is, finally abating. Shame as a weapon to make normal, rational folks nod along with the madness kind of lost its effect.